Good morning. Today we are continuing to work with our different data using different types of graphs. We've worked with the bar graph and the line graph. Today we are working with our stem and leaf plots. So this is going to be a little bit different than what we have worked with. So we really need to pay attention, writing down what the type of graph is. So this is the stem and leaf plot. And with this, each value, each data value is separated into a leaf. We're going to see what that means. That is the last digit. And a stem. And those are the remaining digits. So I'm going to show you what those leaves and stems are so we are able to read it easily. We use stem and leaf plots for displaying data in order. So it's an easy way to display the data in order. Here's what the stem and the leaf mean. This is an example showing the age breakdown of customers. Over on the side, I'm putting the stems, and on the bottom is the leaves. Remember the leaves, it says it's the last digit of our number. The stem are the first digits. So if we look at this example, if I see a 1 here and a 5 here, what number would that be? If the 5 is the last digit, 'cause that's our leaf, and the 1 are the first digits, what number would it be? We're not adding together. 15. So the 1 stands for that tens place. There's a 1 in the tens place. These are our ones. So that's what I'm doing. Okay. We're going to be going through all of it. So I know it's a new thing. So I don't expect us to get it immediately. Just listen as I continue to go through them. So my stems over here, these are just the ones places. Sometimes we might see 2 digits as a stem because it says all the remaining digits. So that means we would see 115. But we know that the leaf is always the ones place, or if it's in the decimals, okay, we know that that's the leaf. That's what's farthest out. So, like Aiden said, we had a 1 in the tens place, a 5 in the ones place, so we have a 15. What number would that 9 represent then, Amelia? 19. So now let's look down at our next row. What are our numbers for all of those? Aiden H. 23, because we can see there is a 2 as our stem. So now this row is going to be 23. So our next number is another 23, 26, 27, 28, and 28. So now our next row, we see a stem of 3. What are those numbers?
30, 31, 31 again, 32, or 31, yeah, 32, 35, 36, and then 37.
Yeah, there were a lot more numbers in the 30s. what you do is you take the stem and you put it in front of the leaf to make the full number. So instead of having to write all of the ones, all of the twos, all of the threes in front of those numbers to start with, we just say this is our stem. These are our 30s. These are our 20s. These are our 10s. These are our 40s. These are my 50s. These are my 60s. So Bennett, what are my numbers that go with the stem of 4? Oh, yes, what's your question?
Is it ever gonna be laid out differently, like the plot? Is it gonna be like
You're always going to have your stem on the left and your leaves on the right.
Oh.
So whatever's on the left is what you put in front of the leaf. So a stem and leaf plot will always be set up that way. Olivia, what are my numbers that go with the stem of 4?
40, 40, 44, 45, and 48.
Do I have any in the 50s?
No.
No. There aren't any leaves there, so I know that I don't have any numbers that are in the 50s. What numbers do I have with a stem of 6, Gigi? Yeah. There are 3 60s. So when we look at this, we just know that we take the stem and we put that stem in front of every leaf that's in its line. So the 5 and the 9 become 15 and 19. Does that make more sense now? So always look at what your stem is. You're going to put the leaf right after it. So each of these leaves represent a bigger number. So once we know what all of our numbers are, we can answer our questions. What is the age of the youngest customer? Because all of these are the ages of the customers. What's the youngest customer, Matthew?
15.
15. What's the age of our oldest customer? Nora? 60. So 15 is going to be that first number that we can make. That's the smallest number. That last one, it's not going to be 0. We have to put that stem in front. It's going to be the 60. Now we need to find the median and the mode. Stem and leaf plots are really good for identifying these. So to find the median, we need to find that middle number. What I did was I just counted them off and said, okay, I'm going to cross off my smallest and my biggest, and I'm going to keep working in. So instead of having to do it all in one big line, I go smallest to the biggest, smallest to the biggest, smallest to the biggest, smallest to, I have 2 numbers in the middle there. What are my 2 middle numbers, Matthew?
1 and 2.
Nope.
4 and 2.
Don't forget about your stem. So what are my 2 numbers that are in the middle? 31 and 32. How do I find the median of 31 and 32? You remember, Melina?
Yes. You add those 2 up and then you divide that number.
63. 31 plus 32 is 63. And what do I divide it by? By 2, because there were 2 numbers I added together. I'm going to divide them by 2. So for my median age, what age do we get for that middle age of all the customers? Matthew, what was that? 31.5. So my median age is 31 and a half years old. That is the middle age of all of my customers. Now I need to find my mode. What does mode mean? Aiden?
The number that occurs most times.
Yeah, mode is the most. So which number do we see the most of? Olivia?
0.
Don't forget your stems. We're not just gonna look and say, oh, I see lots of zeros. No, because they all have a stem that goes in front of them.
Wait.
So we wanna look at what the actual numbers are, not just the numbers that occur as leaves. We want the actual numbers. Jillian.
31 and 60.
31 is in there 3 times and 60 is in there 3 times. So we have 2 modes. We had 3 60s and we had 3 31s. So we don't want to just look at our leaves and say, oh, look at all of these zeros. I see the 0 the most, that's my mode. There was no customer at the age of 0. So we know that can't be our mode because no customers were the age of 0. We had a lot that were age 31 and a lot that were age 60. So always remember to put that stem in front. Okay, does that make sense? One last question. Is the data more likely to represent a coffee shop or an indoor playground? Explain.
Oh.
So which one do you think, coffee shop or playground, and why? What do you think, Olivia?
A coffee shop because there's an indoor playground, there are like adults.
Yeah, because it makes more sense to be a coffee shop because our youngest person was 15. If it's a playground, there's going to be a lot more little kids there. We would see a lot more 2, 3, 4, 5-year-olds. And in a coffee shop, you see a lot more older people. Maybe you might see a few kids with their parents, but mostly it's going to be adults. So at this moment in time, it was just 15 to 60-year-olds that were in this coffee shop. It wouldn't make sense to see all of these people at a playground and no little kids at all. Yep, it's in the bucket. We're just going to ignore it. Does that make sense how we can use this data to answer a question like that? Does it say that this is specifically the Caribou Coffee Shop right down the road? No, it's saying which one would make sense. Would it be a playground or would it be a coffee shop?
But they could be like taking their kids to the playground or something. Or their grandkids.
Yeah, but there's
little
kids.
But there's no little kids here. There is nobody younger than 15 at this moment in time.
15 to 60-year-olds want to play.
So, do we have questions on how to figure out what the numbers are on a stem and leaf plot? Do we understand how to find those numbers? All right. So what we're going to do on the bottom for your work time today is you're going to create a stem and leaf plot using the data that you're given.
How many objectives do we have left before the test?
You have a book, you can look. This is recording. Okay. You can look at your table of contents. It tells you what objectives are in each unit. So, Shevin Klotz, the famous Russian basketball player, has played 40 games so far this season, and his point totals are below. Create a stem and leaf plot with the data. So remember, our stem and leaf plots, we're going to have our stems on the left, and we're going to have the leaves going to the right. What numbers do you think I'm going to start at for my stems? Amelia.
1.
Why 1? Why would I start with a 1 up here?
Because if you're looking at the numbers that are up there, the one that is the lowest is 1.
Yeah, the smallest number score that he has is the 11. So that means our stem is going to be that tens place, that 1 in the tens place. What is the biggest stem that I need to list? Aiden H.
50
69? No, that's 66. Or 61.
Where do you see 66?
61.
61 is the biggest point total that he has. So I know I'm going to go down to the 6. So I'm going to fill in all of my stems in between. Bennett. That is a great question. Bennett's asking, do the leaves have to be in order? Yes. Because it's easier to read if they're in order. It's going to be hard to see what the mode is if they're not in order. It's going to be hard to do the median if they're not in order. So when I was writing it, did I have to erase sometimes? Yep. Because I went, oh, I missed that number, so I had to erase and fill it in. You do want to be organized when you're writing out your graph. Luciana.
So it's possible to do it mixed up, but you don't want to.
If you do it mixed up, it's confusing and it doesn't make sense. Could you maybe see one in the future that's mixed up that they hadn't fixed yet? Yeah. And what should you do to it if it is mixed up? Fix it, put it in order so you can read the graph well. Okay. So here is what you do. I'm gonna get us started. The way that I did it was I went through and I did each of my stems first. And I said, okay, I'm going to take any that have a 1 in the tens place. And I'm going to put my leaf there. So that's 11. So that's 11. Do I have any others? There's a 15. So I have a 1 in my stem and a 5 as my leaf. 17. I have a 1 as my stem and a 7 as my leaf. You do not need to put commas, you put a space. So you space them out. Then I have an 18. And I have a 19. And I'm looking back over at each of my rows and I don't see any other numbers that have a 1 in the tens place. So then I move down to my 20s. Which ones have a 2 in the tens place?
25.
So I see there's a 25.
There's another one. 24.
Oh, there's a 24, and I'm gonna look at that and say, ooh, that's not in order. So I wanna switch it. So I know that there was a 24 and a 25.
There's 22.
Oh, I see a 22. So when I do it, I always look for my smallest first. So I go through and I say, okay, there's a 22. Are there any other 22s? Nope. Any 23s?
28.
Nope. 24s. You guys told it to me, but I haven't crossed it off yet. So I need to cross, oh, I did cross off the 24. 25 is crossed off. So now, let's see it. Is there another 25?
At the top.
Oh, so I crossed one off, but not the other. So there's a 25 and a 25. Now is there a 26? Nope. So now there's a 27. Are there any other 27s?
28.
Nope, but I saw 28. Are there any other 28s?
No.
29s.
No.
Okay, so now I'm done with my 20s. So now I'm going to move on to my 30s. But you notice how I'm going through them all, so I don't have to keep erasing when I find the ones that I had missed. So maybe by the end you might realize, oh, I missed this one, and I just have to put that one in there. Olivia, did that answer your question? Okay. So I always just go through one number at a time, going through all your numbers, seeing if you have what's the next number. That way it's easier to put it in order. Sometimes you get through it all and you go, oh, wait, there's one I haven't crossed off. Whew, I need to sneak that one in. We have those spaces so you can put it in that space. We know the numbers that are the leaves. There's only one digit in every leaf. So we don't have to put in the commas because we know each one of those digits represents its own individual number. Then you're going to answer once you're finished with your 7-leaf plot, you're going to answer your questions at the bottom. This is a 1-page assignment. We did a lot of it together. Keep working on it. For my friends at home, we hope you are well. We hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day.